Welcome back, you lovely lot, to Cowland on Cars, the channel that proves I've never really grown up. And today we're going to be looking at one of my favourite cars, probably a car that I'll never sell, for lots of reasons. First of all, this Subaru BRZ is the first Subaru BRZ, the very first one that came into the UK. And this car and I go back all the way to 2012 together. It was the Subaru development car. I was then lucky enough to buy it from Subaru. And over the years, as you can probably tell, it's been messed about with. Now, it always has sounded brilliant thanks to a Miltech exhaust, but something I've always wanted to do with this car is actually change the induction system, for the simple reason being that the induction noise that this car makes is actually fake. There's a little resonator box that pipes in, literally pipes in, not through a speaker, but through a hose, fake noise into the cabin. I want to make that real noise. And now something new for the channel, an unboxing. I don't think we've done an unboxing on the channel before. This is very lovely. This is an MST intake, and there's a reason that I've chosen this one. Well, two reasons really. Number one, this was gifted to me by my very good friend Alex, who is big sales chief there. We go back a long way, me and Alex. And he was kind enough to see some footage of the car and said, you know what, you need one of these, which is lovely. Thank you for that, mate. Always like to let you know if I've had something gifted. But to be fair, had he not been so generous, don't tell him this, but I would have probably bought this anyway, because this is exactly what I was after, because I wanted cold air blank off. In other words, I didn't want the filter to sit in the hot air of the engine. I wanted something that matched the quality of everything else that we've done, because that car has really the best of everything on it. And also I wanted it to make an obnoxious noise, and I think this will give me all of those things. Have a look in here. Right, so let's see what we have in here. So we have a very lovely, very large cotton gauze filter with a fairly enormous surface area. That looks like it's going to let some air in. We've got beautiful black crackle hard pipes with what looks like the MAF sensor on there. I'm going to leave these all in the packaging until we get to Allumy. And a very nice lined, fluoro-lined silicone hose and intake. But this is what I'm getting excited about, because this is what I haven't seen on a lot of the aftermarket intake systems. So you've got here a proper cold air box that the filter's going to sit inside. There's plenty of air around it, and there's plenty of ways for the air to get in. And it seals hard up against the bonnet. Now, it's really hard to beat a factory airbox. The manufacturers spend millions, really, developing that whole intake system. And for an aftermarket manufacturer to come along and think they can beat that, it's not impossible, but it is unusual. But I do think this is going to give us more than a fighting chance, because it's beautifully made, it's really well finished. These seals look like will actually keep hot air out and leave the cold air in. But also there's so much room you need with an aftermarket air filter, room for the air to circulate around. We've got a large surface area filter, we've got an absolutely huge cold air box. But I'm not trying to beat the factory system, that's hard to do. All I want to do is get somewhere near it or equal it, but have a better aesthetic and noise. And I do think, because I'm trying to make this car sound silly, look silly, it doesn't have to be daily driver. It can be a little bit, as I say, obnoxious. And that's what I'm trying to do. So there you go. Right, let's go over to Allumy and see how it fits. I cannot tell you how much I love this car. I've had this car now, believe it or not, since pretty much it was new. It was originally Subaru's development car. They had it from new. They very kindly let me be a part of that development program. And we did a lot of testing and product development on this car. And when that was over, because the car had been thrashed and abused, as all good test mules are, Subaru couldn't really sell it. So they were looking for a home for it where it could continue to have a life and do fun and exciting things. And they very kindly sold it to me for a very, very sensible amount of money. And that was a long time ago. And since then, I've done more to it. You might be able to see the lovely Cobra seats. It's got Bilstein suspension, Alcon brakes front and rear. It's got an Ecutech remap. It's got some RCM headers. It's got Miltech Sports Cat and exhaust, which is why it sounds so fruity. But the one thing I've never done is I've never, ever messed about with the intake. And that's something I've always wanted to do. The thing about this car, Subaru were trying to democratize the sports car, basically. They wanted a car that wasn't huge amounts of money, that the average enthusiast could afford, that you could finance for 300 quid a month and have a lot of fun with. And it was cheap, it was fun, it was tunable, it was upgradable. And because of that, there's just a myriad aftermarket parts for this car. There's just so much stuff out there. I've tried to do what I think, if the factory was doing it, if there was a skunk works, if there was a development process of making this car better, what would the factory do? So we're on the way to Allumy now to see how well that kit fits. I can just tell already it looks really nice, and because it's part of the Ram Air family, I fitted their stuff before, it always works. I just cannot imagine them sending something that doesn't. But we are going to try and bring a bit of science into this. You want to measure your intake temperature, and normally that would be quite hard to do, but this car, actually many, many moons ago, we put an OBD reader on, which gives you all sorts of fun stuff You've got your battery voltage there, you've got your throttle position, you've got your air temperature, you've got your AFRs, all of that's on there. And we'll just see what that says. Currently we're reading 64, we're just letting the car warm up at the moment, so it's not hot. But it'll be interesting to see if our new airbox can maintain the same temperatures at speed when the engine's hot. That's what we want to know. Right, on to Allumy. But first, because it's raining and Mark is a very exacting man, we have to dry the car off. How do you think they keep this workshop so clean? It's because nothing goes in until it's been dried off so it doesn't drip all over the floor. Health and safety at work, but also how to keep an immaculate showroom. And now for the unboxing that really matters. This is where we're actually going to fit it to the car, and Ali is your technician today, suffering with toothache, but just soldiering on. And the first thing we always do is get everything out of the box, unpack it all, lay it out. And of course, even the best in the business have to look at the instructions, or do they? No, seriously, he really did have a very good read before he steamed in. So if you're wondering what the standard setup looks like and how it works, it's very simple. Hole in the front goes into the airbox, through this very straight pipe into the throttle body, but there's also this extra pipe that tees off here and goes into the resonator box, tiny little resonator with a buzz box diaphragm inside, and that actually pumps fake noise into the cabin. Very unusual, but actually works really, really well. That airbox itself is made from very lovely aluminium. It's beautifully formed, that crackle finish is flawless. All of the seals come on, and also in the kit are all of the brackets you need to fit to the OE positions. The kit's priced at 450 quid, which while it's not the cheapest, looking at the quality and particularly the way that everything's made and how well it all fits, I would say that's exceptional value for money. I've got to that point, I do think it's worth paying a little bit more to get stuff that fits and works first time. And with the brackets fitted to the new box, it's time to start removing the old one. It's a very good system, the standard system on this car, other than the fact it does have this extraneous pipework. It does work well. You can see how large the intake is for the factory airbox there. The MAF, the mass airflow meter, is in a very sensible place. But the good thing is all of this common sense that the factory saw fit to do, including breather placement, all crosses over to the new kit. And once you've undone all the screws and factory fittings, everything literally just lifts out. And what you're left with is quite a lot of space. And I would also say a little list of to-do jobs, new belt needed there, I think, bit of a pulley cleanup, but that's all stuff we can be doing in the winter. But let's get that new box in, and it just drops in. It's perfect size, perfect shape. And before you know it, you're doing up your bolts, which again fit perfectly. There is no adjustment to do on this kit. It just drops in like the factory put it there. I love stuff like this. Carefully moving the MAF out of the old housing and into the new one, where again, it fits perfectly. Be careful not to over tighten those when you put them in as well. Then fit the new hoses. I don't need to tell you, they go on beautifully, no need for any lubrication, and then carefully put it onto the throttle body to get ready to take the new filter. And this all happens very quickly indeed. Obviously we slow things down when we're having to film, but I think you would probably do this in well under an hour at home because it all just fits so well. And also I think it's quite a basic fitment and the instructions really are very clear indeed. And that means we can also get rid of the old resonator box because we simply don't need it anymore. That undoes. Now there is a pipe that goes into the back of it that goes down to the bulkhead, and to remove that properly, we'd have to go under the car. We haven't got time for that today, so we're going to neatly cap it, tidy it up, and there you go, one beautiful fitment. But what does it sound like? It sounds amazing is the short answer. It sounds like the cars we used to build in the max power period, but with cold air going in. And look how neat the bonnet stay goes as well. So bonnet shut, back out on the road. Let's see what it's all about. And there's 60. This car hits the revs so quickly. That sounds so good. Right, into the road test. So what did we notice about that? Well, first of all, the kit was brilliantly easy to fit. Obviously, those guys are monstrously talented technicians, but I think that's a kit you could easily fit at home with some very basic tools. And even stopping and starting for filming, that was no more than an hour. So I think you do that in an hour. Everything went on, everything lines up beautifully, everything fits beautifully. There's not any fettling or adjusting to do. Doesn't that sound good? Oh, I love it. Can't stop playing tunes on it. Here's what's interesting though, inside the car, now outside the car you can hear a little bit more induction noise, but inside the car it's not hugely different, and that's because we've taken that resonator off. So we've removed all the fake noise that the car was making. The car is now making a very nice noise, but it's all real. So all of the induction noise we're getting now isn't fake anymore, it's all real noise. Interestingly, the air temperature, now the ambient has gone up a tiny bit, and obviously we've got heat soak because the car's been sat. Oh my God, I'll never get tired of that. But even though the air temperature's gone up very slightly, only by about 6 degrees on the reading, the car feels just as quick as it was this morning. Like I said earlier, it's very, very hard to beat the thermal efficiency of a factory airbox, almost impossible. So I've always looked at this modification, whenever I've done it on a car, as it's a combination of things. It's a combination of aesthetics, of noise, and of a maintenance of performance with an improvement in sound. And I think that's what we've got. I don't think the car is any faster, but then I wasn't expecting it to be. But what I have got now is a much deeper, gruffer induction note, which sounds fantastic, and it's real. It's not pumped in noise. Because the BRZ, the GT86, they had these resonators. A lot of cars like BMW, Volkswagen, they will pump noise through the speakers, and it's a bit of a cheat. And in the low-tech nature of this car, they didn't do that. They actually did it physically with a little diaphragm, effectively, that buzzed and then through a pipe in the bulkhead, believe it or not, actually brought noise into the car. So I've taken all of that off, which obviously is less clutter, makes the engine bay look a lot nicer. And now we're getting the same effect for real, and I like that very much. Because I don't want to break the speed limit on camera, let me leave a gap from the car in front, drop a cog down to 35, and you can hear just revs and revs and revs and revs. It's ridiculous, and there's the speed limit. Absolutely superb. Couldn't be happy with that. If you've got a BRZ or a GT86, I've only had 5 minutes with it now, but already I can tell you it's very addictive. All I want to do is keep dropping gears and hitting it. I love it. I love it to bits. Got some traffic lights. We're going to stop like good motoring citizens. And here we go. A pull. And there's the speed limit. Now, interesting, now we've got a little bit of cold air through. The inlet temperatures are only about 4 degrees higher than they were this morning on the way in. And interestingly, I think ambient is about 2 degrees more. So you're only really getting 2 degrees difference in intake temperature. And I think for the fact it looks much better, it sounds much better, I would take that compromise all day long. And now when you open up the bonnet, it just looks like we've been messing. And I don't know if you're like me. I think there's a big thing that if you are a car person, car guy or girl, you don't want your car to look or sound or drive like everybody else's. You want it to be different. And I love the fact now when you open up the bonnet, which always looks a little bit undertuned to me, it looks right now. You can have a nice stretch of open road with which to get up to the speed limit. Are you ready? Can't go any faster. Why would you need or want a car that can go that much faster than that? That sounds fast, it feels fast. It is fast, the speed limit. And I don't think it's gone too noisy or too stupid that I can't take it on track, because that was the other thing. You can get cars that make a load of induction noise, and actually that will set the noise sensors off on track, and I really don't want that. This is my favourite thing to take on track in the world, this car. So there you go. I think that was mission accomplished. Has it made the car faster? Do you know what? I don't reckon it has. I don't think the car is particularly much quicker. But what I do love about it, we've got real noise, not fake noise, and it sounds faster and it feels faster. And that, my friends, in a gas-ridden world, is what you want to achieve. But thank you for watching. Do like and subscribe, because you'll get all of these before everybody else. And who knows what we'll do next time. But I'll see you then.